Again, to Kevin Pollak's chat show, you'll never guess which one I am. Hey, how are you? And have you set your clocks back forward, rather, spring forward? Did you set your clocks back? That would be awesome.
You clearly did.
I want to be 2 hours off, so I set my clock back an hour. I realized, thanks to dead Steve Jobs, it doesn't really affect much that you don't know you're supposed to set your clock back if you set your alarm. And then the FiOS people were kind enough to set the clock on the television device.
What about your $1 million watch that you're wearing?
My $1 million watch. There are thieves out there in the alleyway, by the way. Is this what we want to tell America? Stop by and take Kevin's $1 million watch.
Well, it's not quite.
I did have to set it back an hour. You're not wrong.
There you go.
Because it's manual.
You know, I feel like if you'd have paid $1.5 million, it would have set itself.
Ha!
That's all I'm saying.
It would have come with a person to set it back.
Sure.
Sammy, you had, I believe, an editorial, an op-ed.
Did I?
Yeah, about today's guest that you wanted to lead with.
I don't recall.
No?
No.
Okay. Then let's get to your emails. I ask you to write to us each week at contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. Contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. But first, let me say we're coming up on our anniversary, a couple of great shows to celebrate. We finally locked a super duper guest in Matthew Perry, who last night, I found out, was sitting next to the great one, watching the Kings lose to the Penguins 1-0 in overtime.
I thought
Matthew Perry was sitting next to Wayne
was
Gretzky.
dead.
He's texting me saying, I can't believe I'm sitting next to him and he's talking to me. And I said, take a selfie. He said, I'm too embarrassed to ask. Which made sense. But yeah, and then the great thing was they got to watch the Penguins win when J-Mac and Jamie were watching the game from our house as Penguins.
And then I did
fans.
a little LA sports fan suck dance around the
Yeah.
my living room.
Well, fortunately for the LA sports fans, they did not see the final goal because it was in overtime and they've never stayed to the end of a game ever.
Sick
Oh, they
burn,
would've
bro.
stayed there.
Sick burn, bro. Oh, do you recognize the ball cap? Me as a casual fan, do you know which league this San Francisco hat represented?
The ABA?
The Pacific Coast League.
Oh.
Joe DiMaggio and one of his brothers played on this team, the San Francisco Seals.
Oh.
I shit you not. Now to the interesting part of the show. Anniversary show next Sunday. If you live in the Arizona area and you've got some time on the evening of Saturday, March 14th, we've been asked to go and do the show live on stage from the Virginia G. Piper Theater at the Center for the Performing Arts in Scottsdale, Arizona, with special guest Matthew Perry and possibly some other surprises. But Jamie and Samuel Goldwyn Levine will be joining me there on stage live, and it's going to be damn exciting. Go to the Virginia G. Piper Theater at the Center for the Performing Arts website, whatever that might be.
Google Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts.
Pretty much.
You're like 3 clicks away.
Clickety-click.
You can find it.
And then we'll take a week off on our actual anniversary because we're all going to celebrate. And then we're going to come back to Los Angeles for our second anniversary show. This one will be live in Los Angeles, on stage again, with special guest Dana Carvey, who will also be doing some stand-up comedy, as will I. And I think his sons, Dex and Tom, 20 and 22, or 21 and 23, have also taken on the world of stand-up comedy. It's going to be an amazing extravaganza. It's going to be kind of like the June Carter Cash family.
So let me see if I got
Only
this
Carvey
straight.
family.
Let me see if I got this straight.
Yeah, and
now,
Sam, you're going to do a tight 7.
you know I'm going to.
Okay.
Now,
I got nothing.
Now let me just see if I got this straight. So we've had Matthew Perry on. He's going to be on again when
As
we
the
do
anniversary
Scottsdale.
guest, yeah.
And then when we do the Largo show,
Another
Dana
guest we've had
Carvey,
on.
who's all. So what you're saying is it took us 6 years, but we have now officially had every single celebrity on.
Yeah.
And you make poor Will Sasso the very last guy. How do you think that's going to make our guest feel? That we had to get through every other.
I'm fine with it. I know I'm not on camera yet, but and this isn't Lauren Green.
Fantastic.
Actually, the great Matt Weiner, whose show begins its final 7, has agreed to come on the show in April.
My God.
Yeah, so we will have a couple of more new guests.
All right.
But for the anniversary shows,
Well, I would like to point out
yeah.
that these were guests that were
Early.
very early on, and this is back whenever we had 2 guests per
yeah.
episode.
Jamie,
So we
honestly,
didn't
it's
really
fine.
get-
It's fine. It's okay. I'm okay.
Will's trying to say, yeah, you don't cry for me, Argentina. But excellent point, Jamie. The truth is they were double guest shows, and Dana was like our 6th show in, I think, because I remember we got the cover of the LA Times.
Yeah, I remember that's back when you used to take us out to eat afterward. Those days are gone.
Seems like you're saying that to camera.
What?
Oh.
Oh, no, I was just a general. Wasn't that my indoor voice? Yep. I thought. My apologies.
So we'll be 6 years old, and as you can see,
What?
you can see the inmates are running the asylum, and it only took 6 years.
I like how Sam gets the aside like Mr. Roper. He's the only one in the show. In the Norman Fell of the Kevin
I
Pollak
better
chat
introduce
show.
our guest. I think he's signaling I need to be on camera.
No. I'm fine. Let's do the whole thing like this.
Our guest will speak, but the camera better be on me. That's how I should do the show from now on. We have guests. You'll be able to hear them. Subscribe to us, won't you, on the YouTube. We've got a couple emails to read. Write us a review. But subscribe to us on the YouTube, I think would be most helpful, is what one of these emails says, in fact. Let's see if this is indeed the one. Nope. There it is. Dear Chat Show, big fan, been watching via YouTube for a few months and have consumed a disturbing amount of episodes. The depth of the discussion without the air of pretension makes the show one of my favorites. Are you known for your taste? That's my first question. 2 hours fly by, which is both a testament to the caliber of your guests and your ability to step back, listen, and skillfully extract the meat of the discussion, rather than the rehashing of the frilly garnish that satiates the patrons of lesser chat shows. Now he just wants me to know that he's learned.
Somebody's
learned.
taken a college-level writing course.
But then he says the following: Jamie, your involuntary eye roll every time Sam speaks always amuses me.
What?
Sam, I'm a fan. The chat show reveals a side of you unknown to most.
Oh.
You are clearly much, much smarter than you look.
Oh, my mother tells me that all the time.
Even in the end, he...
Bring it back.
May I point out that I roll my eyes at everything? At
Everything
everybody,
and everyone.
At everyone.
Yeah, see,
and I've
that-
been doing this since I was about 13, and I'm surprised my eyes haven't snapped in the back of my
Yeah,
head.
this is from Adam Kunz, K-U-N-Z, say it with me, from Malvern, Pennsylvania. And Adam, it's true. You only see who Jamie rolls her eyes at on camera, but oh, I assure you, even the cat
I
enjoys.
do roll my eyes at the cat because she doesn't do anything.
She doesn't do squat.
She just sleeps all day.
She wears a tuxedo overdressed for every occasion, and usually that just means sleeping in a tux. Message to my fellow viewers. Adam goes on. WTF, would it kill you to hit the like button? 10,000 views and 17 likes? You've got 2 hours to fit it in. Supposedly it helps the channel. Excellent point, Adam. I thank you for that one. Yeah, how about some likes or just subscribe? And then he offers up a Larry King game, a thorough email. You're watching Larry King live 44 years ago, shortly after my centenarian birthday celebration. I was arrested on alleged racketeering charge, cementing my bad boy image and penchant for a bespoke goatskin suit. Come on, with the words, with the $9 words. My cellmate Pedro Montalban shared his family's leather secrets, and as a result, I haven't chaffed since the 70s. Let's go to the phone, Satan's Kingdom, Rhode Island. Wow. And just when you thought this fan, true fan, was thorough enough, he's written me a tweet 5. Unconventional, he writes, I know, have no fear, I've preemptively fucked myself. He really is a fan of the show. Okay, this is our 231st show. As I said, we're celebrating our 6 years, and this is the first tweet 5. And maybe write more. I'd like to read a couple tweet 5s. In the meantime, send your tweet 5s if you're watching live to Jamie for today's guest, we'll introduce in about 19 minutes.
Are you going to read both the things out loud and then choose one?
It seems odd.
Yeah,
Sammy, would you mind?
I'm going to give
Wait,
you
your
the
mic.
assist on this one. Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
All right, tweet 5 for Kevin. Here we go. Jamie Lee Fitness or Demi Moore?
Jamie Lee Fitness.
Bryan Singer or Ron Howard?
Oh, Ron Howard.
Satin Porsche jacket or Goran fedora?
Does everyone get the satin Porsche jacket reference?
I get it.
Jamie, tell everyone.
Usual suspects.
Usual Suspects police lineup. Or the Gurren Brothers hat, which of course, the Gurren Brothers hat.
Correct, continue. World Series of Poker or the World Series?
The one that the San Francisco Giants won 3 times the last 5 years, I'm going to go with the World Series. Just for that
Ouch.
reason.
You got an eye roll.
I got an eye roll for sure.
You got an eye roll.
Well, you had nothing to do with one of those. Great role in a shit movie or shit role in a great movie?
See, now that's impossible. The truth is, why would you ever take a shit movie? I've been in shit movies, but I didn't think they were going to be shit when I said yes. So I can't say great role in a shit movie. So I have to take a shit role in a great movie.
That is correct.
Thank you.
That's at least 2.
Was that the last one?
It's 2 out of 5. Yeah, nice job.
I got 2 out of 5. Woohoo! All right, I think there was one other great one. I feel like I was supposed to read. I really want to encourage people to write to us. So let's read one more. This is one of your nearly 45,000 YouTube subscribers writing to you. Why? Because you keep asking us, your audience, to send an email to the show. Write to contact@KevinPaulusChatShow.com. Don't do the show through the iTunes route. Rather, listen and watch, all caps, the show on YouTube. This show deserves to be watched as well as listened to, especially when you have uber humorous moments like when Fred Willard takes off his shirt just before he comes on camera. That really was great. And the man was already in his 70s.
Absolutely.
Causing uncontrollable laughter from
We're not
Sam
making any suggestions to you.
and Miss Jamie. You spelled your name correctly, Miss Jamie.
Oh.
Plus, Chat Show had to work really hard to compose himself after viewing a shirtless Fred Willard. Have to commend all KPCS participants. Show is rarely obtuse to watch. Rarely obtuse to watch?
He's a big fan of Shawshank Redemption.
Thank you for that. He must have known you were going to say that.
Okay.
Whatever good luck Charlie Show uses to produce episodes that are continuously not boring, don't ever lose it, folks. A couple of submissions for the Larry King game. Later, for some unexplainable reason, unexplainable reason, I have been having this desire to grow a beard. Stop shaving my back, gain weight so that I can become a bear. Maybe it is because I want Sam Levine to be my cub.
Wait a minute.
I notice that he is getting prettier every year, especially that region between his chin and his nasal cavity.
Wait a minute.
Over to the phones, just in time, by the way. Thief River Falls. Caller, go ahead.
See, the problem with that is in this reality,
Yeah.
Larry King knows who I am. Which, let's be honest.
But why does he like you're getting prettier in the region between your chin and nasal cavity? He likes your beard.
He likes this area.
He likes the beard and mustache.
I like to think of him as a little bear cub.
Yeah.
Larry likes to have his balls tickled when you're gumming them, I guess. I don't know. What?
He offers up a Larry King B choice. For those who care, Bill Maher ain't a great lay, but John Wayne sure was. Mind it, hello, you're on the air. I say no t-shirt, but here's the biggest reason. Dean from Winterpeg. Our guest is from Canada, but let me tell you, folks, those of you writing us from Canada, you know what the postage is, right, for me to send a t-shirt to you? $17, which is more than the shirt.
That's
You know what?
US dollars.
That's U.S.
Send it to a border town post office.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
It can just come in for the afternoon.
Let's see, Winterpeg. I'll ask our guest today. I love the Peg. Shot 2 movies there. I'm crazy about the Peg. I'll ask our guest in 7 minutes to tell us what the best town is to leave it at, just beneath Winnipeg. That is Dean, Jeske, which would be pronounced Jesk. Jeske. Jesk.
Farva.
Department of Psychology. He's writing from the Department of Psychology, University of Manitoba, Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right. Well, thank you for that. Write to us at contact@KevinPaulusChatShow.com. And now it's time to introduce our guests. 2 Canadians in a row who knew Please welcome William Sasso.
Hello. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Sam.
You've heard him for the past 11 minutes. Now see him. For a little while, you went under the name William Sasso. Was it just ski school too that you went by that name?
Was I? Yeah, at the beginning of. Yeah, before you, Larry Fishburne went the other way, didn't he?
Lawrence?
Was he
Yep.
Larry first?
He was Larry first.
Yeah, and then Lawrence. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I started off with William, probably because my mom doesn't like Will.
And you were 15
not my
years
name.
old when you got your first agent.
Yeah, I was 15 when I started working. So you can't, no 15-year-old should be cool enough to be like, I'm Will, call me Will, you know. Even though
Along
the kids
those
in the school
lines, if someone's name is Ricky
Right.
Gervais, at what point should they just be Rick?
Ask Mr. Schroeder.
All right?
Right.
I will.
I think probably
Ricky?
Rick Schroeder would have gotten to, what do you think? Mid-20s? Maybe early 20s. He's like, don't call me Ricky. Have you read Don't Call Me Ricky?
Is that the name of his book?
I don't know. Sorry.
Now, I mentioned that you're the second Canadian in a row. Last week we had Lauren Collins.
Oh, okay.
Shall I keep talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be fine too.
I wasn't sure if you were registering your awareness of Lauren Collins.
I have to be honest.
Paige from Degrassi,
Oh, wow. Oh, from the new Degrassi.
Next Generation.
Okay. Well, then yeah. Then that's Canadian royalty.
Kevin,
and-
you know, Canadian actors aren't like black people. They don't all know each other.
Jesus Christ.
Is this thing still on?
Holy crap.
If I may.
No eye roll.
No.
Too scared to
That
eye roll.
she's fine with.
She's like, I don't
I'm
even want to have an
surprised that
opinion.
didn't come out of me. That's why.
So Lauren Collins,
Yeah.
who's spectacular and wonderful and delightful, was here last week, and I knew she was Canadian, of course. I did not know you were Canadian.
Really?
So I feel like we're outing you
No, that's
because you've clearly hidden it
yeah
from your fans.
And I can say this as a Canadian and a proud Canadian. That's the most wonderful compliment you can give a Canadian who's been down in Los Angeles for some time. I didn't know you were Canadian. It's like a quiet, but it's like it
Yeah.
pumps up our sales like you wouldn't believe. We just don't really care for ourselves up there. Up there.
What would be the best border town for me to leave the shirt so the guy from Winnipeg can get it?
My answer is always Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I'd have to Google how close that is to Winnipeg.
But I
don't
want to
think
leave
it's
it on
very
the
close.
U.S.
The
border.
US
On the U.S.
side,
border,
yeah.
right on the 49.
So what's underneath?
Detroit's good, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Isn't
have Windsor
Detroit-
envy. They
isn't
look across
Detroit
at Windsor.
Toronto?
Yeah, Detroit's actually a little north of Windsor, Ontario, I believe.
Yep.
It's looking across,
You are
right?
correct.
So therefore, I think that's the best border town. And also, being good,
you can
be good
cross
for
the bridge.
Detroit.
You'd be good for Detroit.
Cross it on foot.
Anything coming through Detroit.
A movie Mike Binder wrote and directed called
Yeah.
Crossing the Bridge.
With Josh
About-
Charles.
About Josh Charles. That very bridge, the Windsor.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 15. Life as you know it growing up prior to becoming a professional actor at 15 is what? Sports, roughhousing, what are we talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of the Canadian experience.
So hockey.
No hockey. I can't skate for shit.
Can't skate for shit
No,
because
I can't skate. I'm just not very good at any sport with anything under my feet. Got in ski bindings once and just ripped my knee out.
skateboarding, go
Yeah,
fuck yourself.
forget that. No, I'm way too huge. Just big fat kid on a skateboard. No kids would let me use their skateboard.
Sure.
Of course, the family's not willing to invest that sort of money in a skateboard because they don't want to offend me. But I am a fat kid. I'm probably not going to ride it. And they were right. I wouldn't have. So a lot of football, a lot of getting back at my friends that way, tossing them across the schoolyard, and just roughhousing, goofing around.
Was the schoolyard area also called the Quad? Where you went to
It might have.
high school?
Might have been, might have been called, might have been, we might have done some weightlifting out there, and might have been, Currency were those little Popeye candy cigarettes. I know what you're getting at.
That's right.
It was actually it was a wonderful place to grow up. The town I grew up in, which is called Ladner, and just you're out in the forest building forts, hunting tadpoles.
What other famous show business persons from Ladner?
Yes, Jason Priestley. Yeah, we actually both had the same drama teacher, and occasionally we get on a email together, an emailer.
Really?
Every once in a while.
From the drama school?
From our high school.
Wow.
Yeah, Hello, Eileen Joe. She's not watching.
Eileen Joe is the teacher, the instructor, the professor, as it were? Uh-huh.
She's great.
And what did you learn from Eileen Joe?
Man, I learned a lot of things from Eileen Joe, for real. All those nights out in the forest, building forts, getting away from everyone. No.
She taught you to skin a person? What's happening out there?
Yeah, it's different in Canada. You have a certain set of skills.
Sure.
It's like everyone, having to join the army when you're in other far-off places. We won't talk about that.
Israel? You're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
my
the
Hebrews now?
Yeah, don't they? Everyone has to.
Yep. I
But
think
it's
it's
great. You know how to take apart a car.
2
and
years.
put
I look at
together a
Samantha
gun.
Ward every time anyone referenced the Israelis.
What?
I don't know why that is. Our makeup artist did her birthright.
Oh, did you? Did you
Yeah.
go on your trip?
She did.
How'd it go? Oh, great.
She loved it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Lauren
take apart-
Collins, who was here last week, also went on her birthright.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't do that as an Italian Canadian.
No, you really can't. You shouldn't. I mean, you
Yeah.
could, and they go, what?
They would go, what's
Yeah.
your big ass doing here? Yeah, no, it was a fun place to grow up, and Eileen Joe taught us all sorts of stuff. It was nice, It was
Ladner
nice.
is near,
It's just about, it's a short 25 to 30-minute drive out of Vancouver.
out of
It's
Vancouver.
a little country-ass town just right outside of Vancouver, which used to be, in the 70s and 80s, it used to be like, oh, look at this hole. And now it's like, oh, it's prime real estate.
Really?
It's not quite in the city. It's a great place.
How far from the actual ocean view are you?
Well, it's on the river delta, so it's kind of a murky, muddy portion of the ocean, because it's where the Fraser River lets out.
No wonder
There's
the
a lot
real
of-
estate prices are going up.
Yeah, yeah.
The way you're selling it.
Well, there's just a little bit of a funk when
In the
that
air?
you get used to. Yeah. See, now I want to undersell it because I don't want people to move there and turn my sweet little town into.
Good move.
Yeah.
You have family
No,
there?
it's really terrible.
You have family there?
All my brother, my sister, all the families, my mom and dad are out of that specific area, but just still in the area.
Uh-huh. I love the Vancouver.
It's nice, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice. The longer I'm away, the more I'm a tourist when I come back, and I realize how great it is. It's pretty
Well,
great.
fortunately, that's something everyone experiences, even here in these United States. The first thing you realize you haven't been home in a while is I think, landmarks and roads. Have you, on a recent trip home, Sammy, gotten to that point, coming up on your 33rd birthday
Yeah.
this coming week?
Yeah.
Speaking of anniversaries. Noticed that a road or something
Yeah.
is not familiar, and how did this change so much? Have you gone through that yet?
I have. As it turns out, the town municipal committee has been getting together every year, and when they knew I was going to come back, they were deliberately making the roads in schools smaller just to fuck with me.
Scaled them down by 10%?
Yep, every year.
Wow.
Every year I go back, I'm like, why does this seem so much smaller?
Are you doing him from Indian Summer? Because that's what you're
The
doing
bridge
right
is
now.
tiny, tiny, tiny.
Tiny,
Yeah.
tiny, tiny.
Yeah, I don't remember being this small. Jamie, did you experience it? I thought you experienced a little bit of this last time you went back home, like some landmark, some.
No, I find the opposite, that it's like everything comes back to me immediately.
Quickly.
Like how to drive, like how to navigate places.
Yeah, I keep
Yeah.
forgetting your kids are in your early 30s. Will, last time you went home, anything seem out of place as you approach your mid-40s?
Approach 40.
You'll be 40 in August.
Yeah, I will. May, yeah.
Did I say August?
No, that's fine. That's the Canadian May.
I don't want to give
Also,
away
that's
your...
another thing that actors like that. I've been in my mid-40s, I believe, for like around 15, 20 years now. Anyway.
As an
So,
actor.
Yeah.
The stuff you get cast on.
Yeah, if I'm getting charted around there, that's fine. I
Who's
don't
your
mind
guy?
that.
Let's jump to that.
Yeah.
Because we all have those guys that we keep going up against, as it were.
Oh, yeah.
So is it Michael Malley? Who are you going up
Who
against?
am I going up against? I see my good pal Greg Grunberg at almost every audition.
He's been here. We love him.
I love Greg, and Greg, literally to where last summer him and I went out with a pitch because we ran into each other at one too many auditions.
It was enough already.
And we were like, we gotta just let's turn the tables and what are we, brothers, or what's our thing? And we did, and yeah, he's and this is, I don't even know if this is a compliment or this is a horrible insult. I think he's me with hair and I'm vice versa. We could be. That's what I'd like to take time here to just sort of pitch. I'm sure
He's
there's some people watching.
extremely
What about the
talented.
two of us? Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's where we differ.
And you do have a similar. You do have a similar energy.
Do we?
Yeah.
One of those
Let
big
me ask you
guys who
this.
shift around a lot. and
Has
do
he
this
been
kind of stuff?
directed by Christopher Guest on a couple of projects?
I don't know.
I don't
Has he?
think he has. Is my point.
All right. Yeah, all right, Greg. If
Whereas
you're watching.
you
Yeah,
have.
all right, I got that on it.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been in anything J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I was
so
just going
he's
to
got
say,
that.
he was kind enough to mention JJ a couple of times when he was here. Christopher Guest, Best in Show was the first time you worked together?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me about getting that gig.
Oh man, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
May I ask what was the first time you worked with him?
I don't see how that's your business.
All right.
Actually, it was 1990, I want to say, and a very, very extremely not watched television program for the CBS network. It was so long ago that this was considered a summer series. Do you remember the things called summer series?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because during the summer, the networks didn't have any original programming
Sure.
in 1990. So they would throw on these, a new program in the summer had its own category
I wouldn't have
because
even
it was
thought that they would
so
do that back
unheard
then.
of.
Wow.
They called them summer series
Huh.
instead of just reruns all summer long, which is how it always was.
Right.
So Christopher Guest and Rob Reiner created this show called Morton and Hayes. And that was the first time I worked with him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and one of my early favorite memories is that he played 11 different instruments, and still does. And he and his very serious, he's a very serious musician.
Yeah.
He and his other very serious musician friends who grew up and became of age in the 60s, loathed Jim Morrison. Just thought he was a pretty boy hack,
Okay.
truly.
Yeah.
And had this running gag, had he survived, he'd be doing jingles on the radio. And so while we worked together on the giant soundstage, you would hear him from across the thing trying to make me laugh, or I would do it to him trying to make him laugh, doing one of what those jingles might be, like Manny, Mo, and Jack, ding, ding, ding. No? Nothing? Is this thing on?
No, I like it.
Ernie's Liquor.
Yeah. Da-ding-ding.
Yeah.
Everybody, we finally got national.
That's what I...
Men's Warehouse. Yeah. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that's what I loved about
Oh
it.
man, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, my first time was Best in Show, and yeah, it was a gas. Yeah, the thing I always remember is that Spinal Tap's in my top 3. So getting to work with him and Karen Murphy and it's like, oh my God, it's like an interactive version of what you've seen, and therefore extremely daunting. And there was a scene that didn't make it into the movie. In the movie, I play one of the guys at his bait and tackle shop.
Yeah.
Where Harlan goes off to the dog show, and so he's in this little bait and tackle shop with these 2 guys. And so there was a scene about a thing and whatever, and there was this map with little fishing lures on it. So we shot this whole thing and I just don't get it. I'm like, well, hold on a second. So someone comes into the shop. Well, this will be they'll have specific lures to whatever, and I keep reaching for it, right? And Mr. Guest thought it would be funny to just take my hand and just shove it at my side every time, right? And at some point, and it made me laugh so hard inside, and at some point I was just like an idiot. And, of course, it's just so dry and so funny. He's like, in between takes, now, Will, if you laugh during what we're shooting, then we can't use that. And I'm like, And then a couple years later, I was cut out of
Family Tree.
Well, no.
Years later.
Yeah, years later I did that, but I was cut out of Mighty Wind. So I come to do Mighty Wind, and there's a scene with me and Larry Miller, and all I'm doing is I'm the balloon delivery guy. So I'm like, here, sign here. And he's like, what color are these balloons? Like they're supposed to be red, white, and blue.
Right.
What? They're red, white, and black. What? Do you understand what you've done? What? And I'm like, what country is red, white? And I'm like, Croatia. That's a hypothetical question. And again, I'm like, because Mr. Miller is making me laugh. And Christopher Guest, who now has the hair that he has on Mighty Wind, and he's like, okay, cut. And he's striding over to me. And I'm red in the face and about to piss. It's like
He's a
really
hero.
a joy. And yeah, and he's like, no, I don't know if you'll remember this, but we had this conversation. And I lose it. So essentially I think, I would imagine Chris Guest thinks I'm a giant
Now,
goof.
as you tell those 2 stories, there is a correlation. You, in your own words, you were in a scene that was cut out of both films.
No, I was in Best in Show. I was cut out of Mighty Wind.
I see.
Yeah, and then
Because the tackle box,
the scene it's much shorter.
it's been cut
yeah,
down.
it's been cut down. But
I see.
yeah, the scene there's one scene.
and then Family Tree.
Yeah, did that. Yeah.
Did that stay in?
That stayed in.
Okay,
that
good.
stayed in.
Did you laugh again in Chris's face?
No, that laughing wasn't necessary because there was nothing. Well, let's put it this way. And now we were at there was this dinner.
Like a kickoff dinner
Yeah,
that we
kickoff
at
dinner.
the Soho House.
And Ed Begley Jr. was telling a story about how, and I hope I'm not outing him, but he was saying how hard it is sometimes to pitch to Christopher Guest.
to pitch something funny to
Because,
Chris.
yes,
It's very intimidating.
It's extremely
Yeah,
intimidating.
and he'll look at you with dead eyes.
Just dead eyes. And
Yeah.
so I'm listening to Ed Begley Jr., say this, and he was, he's Joe Stumpy Pete, wasn't he, in Spinal Tap? He was the first drummer. So, is it Stumpy Joe? So he was telling a story about how his actual doctor in real life wears glasses, and when he takes his glasses off to talk to you, he just hangs them down here. So he just takes them, and he goes, now listen, I want you to understand, this is important. Now let me get to the thing. And another thing I want to tell, and he just hangs them down here.
Right.
So he decided it was better to ask forgiveness rather than permission, and he just tried it in a scene. And then I wouldn't do it justice anyway, but the point being, Christopher Guest, in the most dry and acerbic way, laid into him and said, don't ever do that again, but in a very funny way. Now, I'm hearing this story, and I'm just going like, we're about to all go do Family Tree, and I'm doing a little bit on Family Tree. And so I figured, yeah, I'll try some stuff.
It's
And-
about improvising.
Right, sure.
Come on.
So try some things. And I guess the point of the story is that, I tried a couple things in the first take, and Mr. Guest kind of came over, and I've got that look on my face, like, and he was just like, don't, just do the thing, don't do that. It's just, and I'm just imagining hanging glasses on Ed Begley Jr.'s face and a silent tear, and he's
Remains a hero.
He's a
and
hero.
a heartbreaker. All in the same humor.
I'll take it any
Yeah.
day of the week. That
Yeah.
actually,
Everyone who does know him says, and I couldn't agree more, getting a laugh out of him is one of the hardest and therefore most enjoyed. It's so hard.
I would imagine.
When he was on the
I've
show,
never done it.
people watched and they said, so why doesn't he like you? And I said, no, that's actually Chris when he really likes someone.
God.
Is what you saw.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he loves Jamie. He loves to make Jamie laugh. Every time we see him in any setting, right? He tries to make you laugh.
I'm very flattered by that.
Yeah, it's
that's great.
really kind of adorable.
He likes women
great.
named Jamie.
That's
Well,
what that's always why I'm like, he just
That's
likes
his-
because my name's Jamie.
You did a British accent very briefly there. I'm very jealous about this. Did you work in the UK on The Britishes?
No, we shot it here.
You did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not as jealous.
Yeah, yeah. We shot it in the Palisades somewhere.
Okay.
You know.
What? Tell me about it.
Oh, The Britishes was a college humor thing that they put together a number of shorts to sort of lampoon, Downton Abbey.
Sure.
And so, Pete Serafinowicz came out.
Love Pete.
My God, he's a genius. And
Yeah.
he came out. When I heard that they were going after him, I was really excited. And then,
Because he does impressions and you do impressions?
he's. I mean, and don't you feel like when you get around, kind of some people, you get to dick around with some of those things, and lunches can get pretty long on set. I'm asking him to do Alan Alda. He does Alan Alda.
Yeah.
Like, who does it? Do you do Alan Alda?
Well, no, but the obscure ones are the ones we like.
Right. And
Yeah.
now and I don't know if you remember this from the
Family Tree.
Family Tree party, but I kind of, sort of trying to get you to do, your Alan Arkin, like over and over again,
Well,
so
I
that
was-
I could do the Chris Guest laugh, geek out at a party.
I
but
was
it's true.
thinking your obscure ones that I saw from the list, and I know you do way more than these. I'm assuming you do more. Dennis Franz, I thought would be sort of obscure.
Oh yeah, that was pretty obscure.
Was it an actual?
You know what it was when
In
we
a
were,
sketch, or were you
yeah, it was
really
on a sketch.
impersonating?
It was in a sketch. MADtv, you would get, I used to be on MADtv. It was a sketch show. So I always feel like I have to.
You have to
Nobody
look-
knows.
It's that one that everybody watched for 30 minutes before SNL came on.
Yeah, it's the one. Yeah, and then when SNL writers were like, sometimes we checked out the first 20. Oh, really? Yeah, just so we make sure we're not,
Yeah, no, we're going to
Taking
talk.
your
We're going to
stuff.
go in depth about MADtv because
Sure.
I have a feeling
What?
there's more on the subject.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine.
But some
We
of
don't
these
need
you
to
would
get
do
into
in
it.
sketches, and some of them you would actually
Sometimes
impersonate.
it'd be like, hey, we're doing NYPD Blue. You're Dennis Franz.
Right.
Andrew Daly, you're Rick Schroeder.
Yeah.
See, I said Rick. And so you would just like go, okay. Like the worst one I ever did was just like, I remember there was a sketch where I had to do Michael Caine. It was terrible. It was terrible.
The impression was
My
terrible.
impression was terrible. Or Bruce Willis, which I realized was the same as my Steven Seagal. because all he does is just, Bruce Willis just smiles more. Like, and it just talks like this.
But that sounds like Steven Seagal.
Right, because Steven Seagal is that without the smile. So, yeah, I did Dennis Franz, which Dennis Franz is here, and Rick Schroeder on the series is here. So
You're towering over your Rick Schroeder?
No, I did this thing where I squatted down and I had like long trench coats, and I pulled my neck way back, and I was literally just waddling around like this.
And doing a Chicago accent?
Yeah, and I played him like a Muppet, because you could get very silly on the show. So I'm like, oh, I'm not quite good at this impersonation. I can't find those 1 or 2 or 3 things that you lock onto to do a proper impersonation.
Right.
So I'm going to make this the Muppet version of Dennis Franz. He just, hey, that, and just that, and great makeup, hair, and wardrobe, and we're off to the races. And who gives a fuck? Because it'll air in the second half of the show, and no one's watching that, right? So there's my Dennis Franz. But when Pete Serafinowicz does Alan Alda, and when you do Alan Arkin, and all the Allens, I'm a huge fan of Alan impersonations.
So who is your...
My obscure one? Oh, what's my obscure one?
Uncle Jim?
My Uncle Jim.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you, at Christmas, Will, I started doing, I was doing Mike Tyson on my podcast, and I haven't done it in a while, but it's just like, oh, when you're like, oh, I can kind of do, that's obscure, I think, for a white guy, I think.
Right.
Yeah. But just, and all my Mike Tyson is just, I'm a different person now. I'm a different person. I just talk about, back then I was, I got this guy cussed him out of his house. I'm gonna rob these white people. He didn't know me from anything. He took me and he believed in me. I said, bet. I'm gonna give this boxing shit a try. I'm a different person. So, I
like that you're doing the mature Mike
I'm
Tyson.
fascinated by him. And
because I or anyone else who ever did him, it was always the younger one. And it was just a whiny, just slightly different than Leno, quite frankly.
Take some Leno.
Well, because Leno is up here when the Mike Tyson's down here.
Yeah. Although Mike Tyson never does this part.
Yeah,
that's also, and then that goes into my Dennis Franz. It's just the.
I wanted to try something with you because on the show I've talked about a game that Alan Arkin, the aforementioned, and his son play called One Word Impressions. His son Tony Arkin created the thing where you can only use one word.
Okay.
And I will hip you to more syllables, more helpful when choosing that one word.
Yes.
And I'll let you think about it for a while. But one word, and it cannot be, this is the hard part, a word that the person's famous for saying.
Oh.
But you can only use one word, and then you say the one word, and then I'm supposed to guess who it is you're doing.
I like this
Like
game.
if I were to say, lingerie.
Bill Clinton.
There you go.
Wow, that's great.
Now, I got a new one I want to try out on you because
Okay.
I just discovered this, and I've been telling people the name first, and they think it's hilarious. But I wonder if it would work if I don't tell you the name. Now, close your eyes, because that'll help, because I don't look anything like them.
All right.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Bananas.
One more time. Was the word, can I guess what the word is before you say it again? Did you say bananas with a weird accent?
Yes.
Okay.
Bananas.
Oh, man.
Oh, I've got it. It's Stephen Ray from The Crying Game.
Nope. Close.
Is it either Robert Loggia or Jack Palance? Can I guess two at the same time?
Now, in order to, wow, that's very, very, very painful. You have a guess, Bill? Liam Neeson is correct.
Wow. Oh my God, yeah.
Now close your eyes and we'll try it one more time.
Okay.
Bananas.
Oh my God.
Now you got it.
Bananas. Do you want,
What would you like
what
on
would
your
you like
waffle?
in your crepe? Yeah.
What would you like on your waffle,
You want
Mr.
cinnamon
Neeson?
or bananas?
Bananas.
Long dead. Bananas. Oh, hi, bananas.
I'd like a very particular.
Am I right?
Specific set of ingredients. Yeah. Specific set
I
of
came up with 10 of these for the Stratton's party. Do you remember?
Oh, man.
Do you remember
that's
any
fun.
of them?
Yeah,
Like Woody Allen was a really long word, like
carburetor.
yeah. Carburetor. Again, many syllables is helpful. So think about. Take some time and think about one. I just got.
Photosynthesis.
Oh, Pacino. That
There we
was
go.
great.
Yeah. Well, but everyone's got that take home.
Spaghetti was
Pacino.
another one.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti! For us, it'd be McCormick. But one of the ones I did watch and love that you must have got a lot of feedback on was the Gandolfini as Tony Soprano.
Oh yeah,
You must have heard a lot about on that.
People really received that well. That sketch was written by a hilarious man, Brian Adams, a Groundlings alum, and it was one of those sketches where
Not the Canadian
musician. I have to, you have to make sure that. Yeah,
That's
I don't know if you
Brian
know
with
this.
A Y.
Yeah. A little bit after Cuts Like a Knife, Brian Adams went through the Groundlings. He got right in the A Company. It went pretty well. So, Brian wrote the sketch, and it was one of those, at MADtv, it was like, any sketch show, and you get like a pure. It's a promo for The Sopranos, but a Christian network bought it, so they have to bleep out all the swear words.
Right.
It was just like, oh wow, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
and it was
great.
fun to do.
I would definitely recommend people stop watching this right now. Go to YouTube and dial up some.
But come back.
Yeah. Well,
Not to be confused with if you get into YouTube, and now as a YouTube connoisseur myself, this is what happens. If you go and you look for that, you're looking for the Sopranos PAX, P-A-X thing, because you will end up on the Sopranos Family Feud. Not as good a sketch.
another sketch you did.
Yeah.
For MADtv.
Yeah, so don't, that one. Or the James Gandolfini at an award show, that's a good one, where it keeps cutting to him for no reason.
Where
There was
he said
no
it-
audio in the sketch. Well, it was just Alex Borstein
That's
receiving
really
an award.
funny.
Well, when they go and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I mean, Tony Soprano's in the front, when they, when
Yeah.
they get up there and they geek around, they call by a character name rather than, and he's just like, he looks in the camera like, and, but then as she's talking about her documentary, which is about, this and that, and it gets into some very, off-color things, it keeps cutting back to him to where, he's like, and doesn't want to be on camera. That's a great sketch.
What was your key? Because there's always something that unlocks the impression.
Oh yeah, Tony Soprano.
Was there a phrase or a term?
No,
I find if you
that one was one of those weird ones where it was like you just start repeating. Back then, you would get a VHS tape.
Sure.
And
Or they would give you for research.
yeah, they'd be like, do you have it yourself? No, we'll get you a tape. And then you would go off and just watch it and talk and talk and talk.
Well, you've got the raspy voice thing that you can do for some of these impressions. So if you would like, I'll show you how to do Jason Statham without the big long introduction that they've all heard. But just say Joe Mean really quickly together, and it will sound like Jason
You know what I
Statham
mean?
saying, "Do you know what I mean?"
Joe Main.
There you go.
Joe Main. Joe Main.
Joe Mean.
Joe Main.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
Was he in your wheelhouse prior?
No, thank you very much for that.
Because you're now doing
Now check this out.
flawless
Now check this out.
Jason Statham.
Bananas.
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 Bananas. Bananas. Well, there's Liam. Bananas and Jason Statham. Bananas.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, no, Tony Soprano was a fun one to do. And then,
But was there a phrase or anything that? Because I could never get him, and I've heard not a lot, but I heard a couple people do him.
yeah, it's
So
he's like, he's got that. But which I didn't really do in the sketch because I couldn't really hear it. But yeah, it's just I don't know, Gabagool, hey man, he's up here. Yeah, I don't know. It was
Gabagool?
just Gabagool, yeah. I don't know. I just it was one of those ones. It's weird because I agree. You need, some of the fun at Mad was like you'd watch like Phil Lamar, who's a crazy mimic and could do all sorts of different stuff, like consult someone about someone go, Phil, well, how do I do this one? Oh, well, let's find two things, and or we'd start doing it to each other, or like Frank Caliendo, whom I love Frank. His first season he came in, and I'd been there for a few years, and I love Frank, and I say this with but he's a super geek for this stuff, obviously, and I think he's remarkable. So we have our first conversation. I'm literally meeting the man. Hey, how you doing? No. And he's like, yeah, Louis Anderson. I go, yeah. He goes, you're doing it wrong. You're doing parts of it wrong. And I was like, oh, am I? But then he's like, you do this stuff. You're here, you're Louis. But sometimes you got to throw it back here. And I'm like, you're right. Oh my God, And
see, now I think
and
that's
then we're doing
an
each
obscure
other.
one. I think
That
that's
is a
an
pretty obscure
one.
one.
Yeah.
Bananas. Bananas.
Me pudding!
Yeah. My
Do we have bananas?
my,
Does it make sense? sorry. Okay. All right. What do we got here? All right. What do we got?
That was the only way.
Top 3 answers on the board.
That was the only time I ever thought about doing Louis Anderson is when I saw him like season, I don't know how many seasons he did, but let's say he did 5. It would be season 5 in the last 3 or 4 shows, and he was just over it.
Oh, sure.
And it was just, show me cream cheese! He wouldn't even look at the board. He wouldn't even look at the board.
You know, I heard back from him. You know, occasionally you'll hear back, of course. You know, from
Right.
these people, and it was take it easy, would you? You know, and I love Louis Anderson, and it was from a mutual friend. Was like, hey, I talked to Louis. You know, he's like, just, you know, he's just telling you, just lighten up a bit. I'm like, oh, please tell Mr. Anderson. You know, of course we do. We go so shitty, and you know, we try to, you know, it's with love, and I love most people that I impersonate truly,
Yeah.
except for Steven Seagal. I've never heard anything nice about the man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
My favorite story about Steven Seagal is that Mel Gibson was doing one of the Lethal Weapon movies, and he was on the lot at Warner Brothers in the hair and makeup truck, sitting in the chair, being made up, and at the far end is the door of the trailer, which opens up, and Steven Seagal doesn't even enter the trailer. He just sticks his head in and yells at Mel Gibson, "In the real world, I could kill you in 4 seconds."
Come on.
And leaves.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that great?
It's fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never heard, and all of the just the sexual harassment. Literally,
Yeah.
I get all those stories. People will just be like, well, you know, or people that work with them. I mean, my goodness. Okay, but the one that I love,
Sure.
that I want to believe is
Please,
true,
please.
is that there was a writer who went to meet him on a new movie that this writer would have been writing or working with Steven Seagal
Sure.
or whatever. And so he's like, go into Mr. Seagal's trailer and just wait, and he's in the bedroom part, and he'll come out or whatever. So this is as the story goes and as it was told to me, and if it's a lie, you know, but I want to believe it's true. That the guy's sitting there, Steven Seagal comes out of the back part of the RV, walks over to him and goes, he's got a script in his hand, he's like, I just read the best script I've ever read in my entire life. And the guy goes, oh, wow. And somehow gets to, well, who wrote it? He goes, I did. And he drops it in front of him, and it says, whatever, by Steven Seagal. And that's, okay? That's what I heard. Well, apparently, writers will be paid, you know, here's $20K, and we're taking your name off it, and it's his name and this guy's name. You know, it's Seagal and someone, you didn't write it now, you know.
Yeah.
Someone else wrote it. So he thinks he actually wrote it, though. He hasn't written a movie, right? The story has layers. But, so I completely buy that he would stick his head in the real world, I can kill you. I want to be, man.
In the real world, I could kill you in 4 seconds.
That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. I don't think you could.
In the real world, Mr. Seagal, diabetes is going to kill you pretty
Yeah.
soon.
In the real world, no one's buying that hairpiece.
Also, just start wearing a muumuu at this point, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the next evolutionary step. He's covered all different nationalities as far as his chosen garb. He's got the slightly American Indian brown suede coat with the tassels and lots of whatever the.
And then one of those is just draped all the way down to his ankles.
My favorite when we were at MADtv was anytime I got to wear, and for muumuu purposes, when I got to wear like the very like the sort of the Chinese with the
Yeah,
the collar.
Nehru collar.
Oh, yeah, just the best because it was just so comfortable. I'm like, I need to get one of these made for myself.
Yeah.
At home. Just me walking through the Ralphs. That guy from, isn't he on, what is it, In Living Color or something? He does Steven Seagal on the show, and look at him. He's walking around. And,
And then how would Steven Seagal ask, where is the McCormick's marinade?
Excuse me. Excuse me. I see your Stubbs marinade here, but where's your McCormick's marinade? Hey, I'm looking for the chili lime McCormick's marinade, and I don't see it here anywhere. You got hickory? You got the, I don't care for this Cajun bullshit. There's my chili lime. It's got just the right amount of sweet and spicy.
Oh, it's the best, right?
It's so much fun, man.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's
Our
get
audio-only listeners, boy, are they missing
They're
out.
missing out
They're
some
missing out.
facial work being done here, folks.
You know what I think? I think that's bananas. And he's playing the let me get my manager. And Liam Neeson comes over. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a problem. I can't find your McCormick's lime chili marinade. That's my problem. Well, we have a very specific list of marinades. Oh, yeah? You don't got the one I want.
Have you looked by the bananas?
Spaghetti! What was that?
We like to include our audience whenever possible to write questions. They're forwarded by Ms. Jamie Foxx. This one, Tom Jackson Jr. from the Facebook asks you, what was it like working in the Doctor Who TV movie for America? If you had the chance, would you ever appear on the show now?
I was in a Doctor Who TV movie some time ago that shot in Vancouver.
For America, apparently.
Yeah, and yeah, it was like you know, I don't know, a long time ago. And
How long ago were we talking?
it was like 20 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, and I did not know. You know, it was great. Look, here's the thing. I actually get a lot of some not a lot. You know, some tweets and Facebook messages about Doctor Who because it has such a huge fandom.
You could go to conventions every weekend if you wanted to.
Sure,
if
right?
you ever appeared in a Doctor Who anything.
Yeah, because they're crazy about Doctor Who. I was just like a fat teenage actor who auditioned and got it, and I'm taking that part.
Sure.
And so I don't know a whole lot about Doctor Who.
Thankfully.
And well, and I just so I don't know anything about it. It was great.
Do you remember what the part you played?
Yeah, I played a
Fat teenager, apparently.
I played a fat teenage. I played a fat teenage. Everything.
By the way,
back then.
I wear husky jeans too.
All right, thank you so
So-
much for just pointing that out. They're more comfortable. Give me the Steven Seagal, the ornate
nothing greater.
moo with husky jeans, and get me to Ralph's, and just I'm happy.
There was
You know.
nothing greater for me in August than when Mom said, we're going to buy you some back-to-school clothes.
Yeah.
And we just beelined to the husky boys' pants section.
Yeah, I don't even understand who's getting into any of these. Like,
Let's not use the word husky.
Yeah, boot cut, relaxed fit,
Relaxed fit.
relaxed fit.
Genius.
Everyone
That's all you
can.
needed.
Those
husky.
sons of bitches.
Yeah.
At
But-
Lucky Brand Jeans,
Yeah.
I believe were the first ones, if you wear a size, let's just say 32,
Yeah.
they would make their 29
Uh-huh.
a 32.
Sure.
And you would try on the 32s, you'd go, well, these are way too big.
Yeah, yeah.
Next thing you know, you're wearing
It has a
29 jeans, huh?
It has a name. It's called vanity sizing.
They call it vanity sizing.
There's a name for that.
Yeah.
So it
it's-
came from women's clothing first, too, because when it got to
Old
Lucky
Navy is quite famous for this.
vanity sizing, I'm wearing 29 jeans right now.
But Old Navy goes the other way, don't they?
No, they go like
They want you wearing larger sizes, so you
Yeah.
feel
like
shitty
if
about
you're-
yourself.
No, like a size 4, there's like an 8.
Really?
A size 4,
Yeah.
there is an
Because
8.
I've had it the
Well,
other
it
way
is
around, where
women's.
I've ordered a couple shirts online from Old Navy, and they fit perfectly. And then I go in and try to get the same thing in the store, and I'm like, did I have too much sodium? And I start getting all, upset with myself. I should go check out with my doctor. I got a thyroid problem coupled with a slight salt imbalance thing. Yeah, fuck Old Navy. Anyway, Doctor Who's great. I would, of course, do another Doctor Who thing.
All right, and let-
No, yeah.
if you wouldn't
I'm just
mind-
being honest. I didn't know anything about it.
No, I think that's great. I think it's great to be actually completely honest.
Wouldn't that be fun at a
About it.
convention?
Yeah.
To have a guy sitting there going,
I don't know.
I don't know
yeah.
anything. I'll happily sign your
And
thing.
not
You
that I
take it."
don't remember,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I don't know. I never saw it.
Would you mind if I do this live read, one of our ads? Have you been to Old Navy recently?
Oh no. Oh no.
What are the chances?
What are the chances?
How would that be possible? I do want to ask about, well, many things, but first and foremost, since we talked about MADtv, let's talk, because you were listed as a writer as well. Was that just part of the deal?
Yeah, I was just part of the thing. All the actors kind of, I was not like specifically hired as a writer or anything like that. It was just,
But yeah,
Just write some stuff.
So you would write stuff for yourself and other people to do?
well, no, you would just if you came in with something that you wanted to do, you could either write it completely or you could write it with other writers or whatever.
But
or
were you
sometimes things were.
underpaid as a writer, performer?
There actually was a point where we had a little meeting about it because some performers felt like, well, I should be paid as a writer too if I'm writing it completely through to fruition.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. So I think they changed the rules on that to where, yeah.
How did Dick Blasucci feel about that?
Dick was okay with it. Dick's a very amiable guy who I just saw last week, by the way.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I'll
We've
see
got
him
to
on
say hello
Wednesday.
for me
I
next
will.
because he worked on that show that Christopher Guest and
really?
Rob Reiner created. That's
Oh,
how I
that's
met.
amazing. Oh, really?
The great Dick Blasucci.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he like the main dude there at the
Yeah,
MADtv?
Dick relieved Adam Small and Fax Barr, who were there at the beginning, created the series, and then they did the first 3 seasons, and then Dick came in after that.
Was Fax Bar fired, in fact, because of his name?
Yes, people did not care for Fax's name, mostly the last name.
Barr.
And there's an H in there. No, yeah, Adam and Fax were great, and then yeah, Dick is so sweet. It was, and having been there through both of the regimes, it was fun because Adam would just tell you, it's like, it's not funny. Wait, but you pitched that to me. Yeah, you ruined it. You know, and you want that, you know, sort of like, it's great, you know, he's just like, and we're still friends, and we'll talk about, there was one time in particular where he was trying to get me to do something differently. Okay, we got it that way, do it. And for the people at home, this is a fantastic Adam Small impersonation. Yeah, you would just do it, we would get into these little, he was great. He was such a, you know,
Yeah.
he was very forceful. And knew what he wanted. And Dick knew exactly what he wanted, but Dick's so sweet.
Yeah, he's got a sweet,
Yeah.
passive-aggressive thing that I always enjoyed.
If Dick asked you, well, I don't know, do you think it's funny? Then
Yeah.
you know it's not funny.
Then you're fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was also the pretty decent hypochondriac who
Really?
stopped me eating bean sprouts once by saying they could cause lupus. Now, Sammy, have you ever heard that?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever heard that bean sprouts could cause lupus?
That's why we don't serve them in New Jersey.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I had never heard that. That was very impressive to me.
That sounds like a rumor started by the curd sprout people.
Yeah. MD.com?
Well, you know, competition.
Yes. The curd, I got you.
Yeah.
We had, was it Bobby Farrelly that sat here?
Peter, Bob.
Peter. It
We
was
had
Peter?
Pete.
It was Peter. It was on a need to care basis for me. I didn't really care which one of them we got.
He's the one who talks like this.
That's Peter.
Yeah. And then Bobby's like this.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, you had them here?
So Peter, but tell me about working with them on the Three Stooges.
Oh.
First of all, the beginning of the process. You're a bit of a no-brainer.
Oh, cheers.
Whereas finding the other two, am I wrong to think that it was more difficult? Who was signed first?
Me.
So I'm not wrong.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. No, well,
You probably did that character when you were 5.
I did a bit of it,
Yeah.
and then they let me know about the project some years before when they acquired the property, and they go, you know, I've been hearing your name around town, you know, here, get some, do you have all the DVDs? No, here, take these DVDs, and then, you know, we'll call you. And then they go away and make Stuck on You, and, you know, we check in every couple of years. And then all of a sudden, it happened, they wanted to make the movie, and at first it was Sean Penn, and building around
Benicio
that.
was it?
Benicio del Toro would have been Mo, and Jim Carrey started gaining weight, apparently, to play Curly. It would have been a combination of weight and prosthetics.
Right.
And I did the Sean Penn, the table read for Sean Penn.
Sean Penn as
Sat there for Curly, to play Larry, but he just sat there and listened to us, and Billy West played Larry.
Sure.
For him. And
Who's
Billy
been
West
here
is
also.
Incredible. And yeah, we did the table read for him, and then the project was off and running, and then it went away, and then it came back where they're like, just make the movie, but we can't get any, you know, big names. And then it was an audition process. And I will say, as far as the story needs to be told at some point, and I don't know, maybe in the future you could have him on. Another Canadian, Chris Diamantopoulos' story on how he got Mo, the role of Mo, is actually one of those great audition stories of, like, he came back numerous times,
Right.
and without giving too much away, there's parts with him stealing a fat suit, and just like it's an amazing story, like him, like the Universal like thing, like essentially like I have to take this because I need this role. I'm getting this, not need, but he
Right.
felt this. He's such a Stooge encyclopedia, and at first, like, a lot of Stooge fans were like, "Oh, why are they doing this movie?" And it was really his wife who was like, "No, you need to, because and then he originally auditioned for Larry. It's an incredible story, And he took the fat suit and he brought it back, and they all knew that he took it.
Right.
And they all knew why.
Oh, wow.
But they just kind of turned a blind eye, and it's a really, really lovely story. And Sean Hayes comes out of nowhere with Larry.
Crazy
I mean,
perfect
it's
Larry.
like you would have never.
Crazy perfect.
He's so vastly talented, and the
And
guys.
he found the key too, which is to make it slightly nasal. I think Anthony Cumia had been doing Larry for a while on right? Yeah. On Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
And it was slightly nasal. Yeah, there was something nasal about
You
it.
gotta get, oh man, there's some lines that, it's so funny because it's been so long since I've done it, to where, and when I'm dicking around with my friends, one of my good buddies, Tommy Blotcha, does a great curly, and I'll do Mo while he's doing curly. Be like, pasta, and I'll do, mind you, get your hands off that.
Yeah.
And I'll do Mo. But yeah, Larry is, yeah.
So Sean nailed
Hey guys, stop messing around.
Yeah.
Stop fooling around, guys.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that nasal thing.
Sean-
Donut remover. Bananas.
So Sean came in and nailed it.
Sean nailed it, and Chris nails it, and
Right.
it was such a blast to make that movie. And the three of us.
Did anyone scratch their heads when it got close to Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro as Mo and Larry?
Did anyone scratch their heads?
Like, is this really going to happen?
I mean, I was completely removed at that point. I mean, Pete and Bob called me up to like do the table read. Just, anyone come in and do us a favor for me? Yeah, of course. I want to hear the script. I want to read the script, and to do it, of course, live. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, people don't really talk to me about it. It's sort of I don't know how many people just out there when you're at Ralph's in a Moo know that that they were even involved. But yeah, for me it was like, people don't really talk about that.
I mean, I read about it.
Yeah,
It was.
me too.
The press was talking about it
Oh,
for a
sure,
while. That
sure.
Sean Penn was going to do Larry Fine in the Three Stooges.
Look, I think.
Wait, well, listen, when I saw him as Spicoli, which is the first thing I saw Sean Penn do, it was one of the first and most uncomfortable times where I felt like the biggest idiot on the planet who actually had this thought. Where did they find this kid, this surfer kid?
Right,
I did
right.
not think he was an
Sure.
actor. I did not know anything about him. I thought they dragged this surfer kid in. And the very next time I watched it, I thought, well, Kevin, you're an absolute idiot.
He's in
What's the
Bad
matter
Boys.
with you?
Bad Boys hitting someone with a
No,
with a
but of course
pillowcase
it's a
full of soap.
performance. It's
Right.
almost a cartoon. But the first time I saw it, I didn't know him or anything about the movie, didn't know what to expect, and he came on screen and it was like every other thing
Sure.
he's ever done. It just sucked you right in.
Well, like everyone says about Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. Like I remember watching that, just going like, this is just a guy that they pulled out of a time machine.
that's
from-
actually true.
That's actually who he is.
He really
Right,
is
so
that
he's
fucking
actually-
trash.
He's that guy.
But now it's about secrets.
Yeah. This thing, I love.
I
this
don't know
thing that
what's
he's
happening.
adding.
Every time he talks now, it's all tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a.
I don't know what's
warlock.
happening.
He's a warlock.
I also.
He's a recently ordained warlock. Yeah. You can't see the Tesla coil electricity coming at him when he's
Yeah.
running through Malibu. Just
I tried to get into True Detective, and
making-
every time his character spoke, I yelled at the TV, "What are you saying?" Nobody talks. I don't know. Maybe you got.
they should make it. As CGI becomes like easier and easier to do, they should just have him float shit around like he's on True, like, and like
Yeah.
laptops and phones are floating around, so you makes you go, wow, he's actually a witch.
Yeah.
No, the movie was a lot of fun to make, and I didn't hear so much about the, as soon as we started, no one talked about the eventuality that it would have been, Carrie, Del Toro, and Penn, and
Somebody's pipe dream.
yeah, so yeah, it was just kind of like, because it's such a hard movie to get made anyway,
Right.
that to us it was like all like, okay, all this stuff, it's so hard to make a movie anywhere, any movie to get done. So it's like everyone's so, worried about this, but afterwards, after it was over, we would muse, or at times when we would get the three of us, and there was one time in particular where we got slammed against the pavement real hard on something that broke, and we were all bloodied, and this would happen every once in a while. Something.
You mean for real?
Oh yeah. Well, look, the Stooges slapped the shit out of each other.
Absolutely.
So we did.
Yeah.
And Chris Demontopoulos, on days where Sean and I get to hit Chris,
We played Mo.
oh, it was the best because I get to get him back for everything he's been doing for 4
been
days.
slapping
and
you.
he would just give it to me, Willie. And I would just, but Chris will hit you like while he's like, come here, Pete, let me show you something. Willie, think, if I take my shoe, pock, and he'll hit me like during rehearsal. I mean, I had leather for, I don't care, you know, and I, you know, fancy myself, oh, you know, I play contact sports, I'll take your shot, you know.
Yeah, just don't
like
put
an
skates
idiot.
on me.
Right, no skates. But I could have maybe been a goalie. Thicker skates, maybe, some relaxed fit skates. But yeah, they actually slapped the bejesus out of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, it had a hand in, you know, Curly Howard leaving us a bit early. It had a hand in that.
Had to have?
Oh yeah.
We think?
Yeah. They really. There's one story about him falling and hitting his head and slicing his head, and Mo, his older brother, you know, looking at Jerome and just going, oh, I think this one did some permanent damage. And it was one of his last, you know, was one of his last shorts. Curly paid the price. And to me,
I'd never heard this, that
Oh, yeah.
he actually got
yeah,
severely fucked up.
They hit him with so much stuff, and when you try to step into their shoes, and then you have to do some of these things for real, you gain an appreciation for the number of shorts they did, for the number of years. And I went in kind of going like, well, physical comedians, who we Gleason and, you know, Belushi and Ritter, like, and
They weren't taking
Curly.
shots to the face and head, though.
After coming out of that, I'm like, this is the greatest physical comedian of all time, Jerome Lester Horowitz.
What he went through.
The best.
Yeah.
The absolute best. A human cartoon, and no one will ever
Yeah.
come close.
And American heroes, if I may.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you're aware,
In the war,
the Japanese showed their soldiers Three Stooges movies and told them these were American documentaries.
I did not know that.
And this is what Americans are like. This is your enemy.
Oh,
They're
wow.
cartoons. We can beat them. They showed them to the troops for morale.
Wow, were they ever?
that explains a couple things.
Yeah.
All right. Shit my dad says. You already had a Shatner impression in your quiver, I assume,
Yeah.
that you, like all the others, had learned from me. But when
Yep.
you...
I was gonna say, and I was doing when I was doing your William Shatner on MADtv.
So I always avoid doing it for the person. What is your take on that?
I never did it.
Yeah.
Never did it near him. Never brought it up.
Never makes sense.
I never. He never brought it up.
Right.
I never brought it up.
Yeah.
You'd be doing press someday, and they go, "Now hold on," and never.
Yeah.
Absolutely never. Yeah.
But-
No.
But,
never did it for me.
but working with him?
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah. Shit, my dad says. Yeah, and to have Shatner play your dad, to have to play his son, and like yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. He's got so many stories, as I'm
Unbelievable.
sure that you've heard. He'll come in. You know, when you're working on a sitcom, you come in the morning, everyone just kind of has breakfast together, kind of, just highlighting their script and these stories that are coming out of William Shatner sitting right here. Good morning, Willie. And he's doing he's telling you stories. He told this one story about punching a guy in a play, and he would slap me in the back as hard as he could. And the whole thing was, if you slap me in the back one more time, I'm going to pop you in the face. I mean, we're just like, huh? And he's telling this story about, and I hit that son of a bitch. And talking about punching a guy as the curtain was closing at the end of the, for the intermission, and then it going into the backstage area. And I mean, the stories they're incredible. Well, what happened? Oh, and then, we shook and they made up and did the play again. Yeah.
Did you see his one-man show?
No.
Unbelievable.
Yeah?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's been a couple of years now. William Shatner's World, and you're just a part of it or something like that?
Yeah.
Or welcome to it? Yeah, and in it, it's just him telling stories of how he started in Canada, another great Canadian Jew.
Wait, Shatner's Canadian?
Montreal. Yeah, you knew that. But growing up there and what it meant and trying to get into acting and...
Sure.
You know both of the episodes from The Twilight Zone that he was in? No?
Not both. No.
So you know the one on the airplane?
Yeah.
Looking out the window?
Oh, yeah.
Terror at...
20,000 feet.
It's Nightmare.
Uh-oh.
Nice
sorry.
try, though.
Well, I got the altitude right.
You did. But there's another one that he's in where it takes place at a diner, and he's taking these cards out of a bobbing devil head fortune teller. You have to see this. If you,
Okay.
because in that
That's
episode,
Nick of Time.
What
The
is it?
name of that episode is Nick of Time.
Thank you.
You can vaguely describe an episode. I got you.
Yeah, Nick of Time,
Yes.
not the Nick of Time.
No, it's just
So
Nick.
Nick of Time is where Captain Kirk is born. If you watch
Really?
that episode, you will see a couple of beats where you went, right there was when he decided this is how I'm going to be, this is how I'm going to act for the rest of my career.
Now, is it what you've alluded to in the past, in that it was him kind of going up on his lines a little bit?
Well, he said that about why he paused on Star Trek all the time. This was a line reading. So the line is, he's looking at the thing, and the fiancé is getting nervous whether he's going to let this little machine force them to stay by giving him, telling the future. You know, uncertain. This, you know, he keeps pulling out these little cards, and they predict like an magic 8-ball. So vague, and he just applies them to reality. And finally, she's had enough, and she said, "Are you just going to let that thing tell you what to do for the rest of your life? Are we going to be stuck here?" And the line is, "I don't know." But of course, he does it as, "I don't know."
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's born in that moment.
Wow. Okay.
And it is so William
Yeah.
Shatner. It is, and he's early 20s, mid 20s.
Wow.
Crazy.
Way too young to have.
And you know how stunningly handsome he was,
Sure.
like leading man looks. But yeah, just it happens in a moment.
Wow.
Yeah, spectacular.
Yeah, there were times where you're like, you know, you're doing these sort of sitcom scenes, you know, with the great William Shatner, and
He has
you're
such
doing
a specific rhythm. For
yeah, and
everything.
it's like, and he was great at it.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, it's like when you're doing a sitcom, especially a multi-camera sitcom, the audience is another member of the cast, of course, and you know, there's a rhythm to it, and to watch him marry his rhythm with, you know, and you're in a sitcom and you're playing a scene where it's like, Dad, look, I really, you know, like the one somber scene of show, and it's like, it was really cool. It was like, yeah, all right, the audience went away for a bit, and they were all like quiet and respectful, and you got to do it, and then he's pulling out, it's Shatner, and he's got that rhythm, and you're like, where am I right now? There were times where I describe it as the front part of my face is doing my job, and right behind my face, I'm like, what is going on? There's one time where a director said, where he was joking with him, but the director was talking about, it's like, well, this is a huge deal for Ed. This is a gigantic deal. This is his big deal. It's a huge undertaking, a massive enterprise. And Shatner did say, "Don't say enterprise to me." But then he turned and smiled to me, like, you know. And the guy was like, like I thought, like I was offending.
He was fucking with him.
He was fucking with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has an unbelievable sense of humor.
Oh yeah. He's way smart.
Let's talk about the genesis of the Lemon Vine videos.
Okay.
You did get an absurd amount of attention,
Yeah.
like truly absurd.
Weird. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not weird that it happened, just weird when something like that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Super weird.
What was the genesis of it?
Well, Vine is an app
Sure.
that came after MADtv. MADtv was an app in the mid 90s.
Okay.
That app was created. The Vine app. Yeah. So no, it's you know.
You got a chance to make 6-second videos, and you thought,
Well, I was I watched Adam Goldberg's Adam Goldberg did a Vine where that was the first time I saw one. Right when it started, he started doing them, and there's one where he was in bed with his wife, and it's just a dialogue thing, and it's just like, oh, you can in-camera edit, and it's just 6 seconds. It was like, honey, I think da da da, and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, that's neat. It's a visual tweet, and I was just like, I like that. That's kind of cool. So I, like maybe 2 or 3 other people in the industry who had time and weren't working to the degree that I could devote hours, sadly, sometimes to make a thing. So I was like, oh, let me try this, and just did a couple Vines.
had you done the lemon
No, I don't know.
vomit in any other shape or form prior?
No.
You created it for a Vine
Well,
video.
I noticed that people were kids were making Vines about they were doing stop animation Vines.
Right.
Everyone was like, there were a couple that were really great at it, but a lot of people were just setting up their phone and like moving food around their plate and just trying things out. And I was like, oh, well, if there's something if you start something, it's so dumb. I just, it's like, so I was just like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if something's coming out of my mouth and you see the first part of it, and then we cut away, and then we cut back, and it was like bigger. So I'm like, well, what do I, literally I was like, what do I have in the house that I can cut in half? And I was like, nothing in the fridge that I could, I mean, there's probably a whole chicken in the fridge, but I'm like, that's going too far. But I was like, yeah, I cut a lemon, I put it, like it's coming out of me, and then, oh, here comes the rest, and then I started making more of them, and the kids dug them. And then, look, I'll tell you honestly, it's like, oh shit, people are paying attention to this thing. You spend your whole life trying to be an actor, and like everyone's like, hey, the lemon thing. And so I stopped doing them completely. You know, like, you know, I don't know, like a year and a half ago or whatever. Like,
There's a compilation.
Shortly after I started them, I stopped doing them.
I would ask people again to stop watching this and go to the compilation on YouTube. Just type in Will Sasso Lemon. And the compilation is pretty spectacular.
Oh, yeah?
It's
Is it fun?
like, I don't know how many videos you ended up doing. But
Yeah,
it must
probably
be-
20 or something.
Yeah, I think it's only like 4 or 6 that they've
Okay.
got. But every one of them, laughter is best when it's involuntary. And it was just uncontrollable
Oh, cool.
for me. Yeah, just
That honestly makes me want to do more of them.
weeping.
Really?
Just weeping. Yeah, because you started to fuck with it immediately. Like, you know the lemon's going to come out of my mouth
Right.
now by the time you got to the third one. So now I'm just going to fuck with my own format.
Okay.
And act like it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Be like in a mid-conversation or something.
Yeah.
Or someone says the word lemon and that sets it off.
I was having a phone conversation. There was one where I'm having a phone conversation with myself.
Talking about the Odd Couple.
We're talking about The Odd Couple, where I'm on the phone, which, by the way, now here's the absolutely embarrassing thing about it, and I'm happy to say it, and I feel very fortunate that I'm an actor in this business, and I love what I do, and I've been able to, and you know, right?
Yeah.
Am I right, Sam? We're
Sure.
all,
Absolutely.
right, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, everybody's very happy. And look, I feel, look, I love what I do, and you know, and if you love what you do, you never work it. But so here's the thing.
Fuck that Confucius
Right?
prick.
What a weird, yeah. Get my marinade. I'm not Confucius. I just like this outfit. But I was like, I can't. I'm sitting there in my house with my iPad where I've recorded the other voice, and you got to time it, right? And it's like the
'Cause
other,
you're on a phone call.
right? Your thing, and yeah, so you're doing a one-sided phone call, but you got to hear the other thing. And I'm like testing it, like, oh, that's not close enough. So I'm doing all this stuff literally in a Tuesday afternoon
6 seconds.
because I didn't get that pilot, you know. So I'm not working anyway. So I'm sitting there like, and the thing was. I think, yeah, the title of that one was just The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
And then the thing was like, he says, Klugman and Randall? I go, who, Klugman and Randall? He goes, no, Mathau and Lemon. And then Lemon comes out. And also it's like, there's like predominantly teenagers are on the Vine app.
Yeah.
So I'm like, anytime I can confuse them with like shit that came, for all they're concerned, it's 100 years ago.
Right.
You know, and you know, and now they'll be like, what, the Tom Lennon, Matthew Perry thing? The Odd Couple? Why is he making a Vine about that? It just started.
Lemon again, though.
Well, there we go.
Was it right away, or when did you decide, I'm not going to just have the lemon come out of my face, but maybe a pint of water behind it?
You know, it's that kind of stuff that they wouldn't let you do at MADtv that really would have sent my Dennis Franz over the, if Dennis Franz like, there, just water, if he was just spewing water the whole time for no reason, and Matthew McConaughey like just making shit float, that's my kind of sketch show. Coming soon to YouTube. Yeah, I don't know, because I was like, oh, this needs to be more dumb. More
Yeah,
dumb. If
right.
I'm by myself, I'm already by myself. I would do like, I did a series of Vines where it's just De Niro doing stuff. So it's like, you know, De Niro ordering Chinese food. So he's just like, egg rolls, you know, fried rice, and just like, and he's just him saying, you know, or like naming, it's like, what should Kanye and Kim call their baby? Kimye, Steve, you know, just like different, and like coming up with names. And at the end of those, I always have to excuse myself. It's me with literally, this is so, I don't care. like in my drawer, like an eyeliner pencil, an ex-girlfriend's eyeliner pencil. Okay, that goes in here, and here's this. And then I put a wig on, and I'm like, you know, Moosho Park, nah. And then just everyone's take-home dinner, and then I take the wig off, and I'm like right into the Vine guy. I'm very sorry, trying to pull some of it back.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine calls me. He's like, "Hey man, hey, what's up? What are you doing right now?" Because I just launched the app, and literally I'm sitting there with like hand soap, going, "Oh hey, what's up, dude?" And he's like, "What are you doing?" Just chilling. What are you doing? You want to grab coffee or something? He's like, "Yeah, I just saw Vine. You just did. Let me ask you a question. Did you buy that wig to make that Vine in your house?" "Oh, no. Why? I had that wig." "Oh, cool. Because you've been a professional actor for how long?" "Well, yeah, and you're at home. Didn't you do De Niro on MADtv?" "Occasionally." "All right. I'm just putting it out there." And you get really. And now I'm sitting here and Kevin Pollak's asking me about the lemon thing.
He's busting your balls.
He's
I don't
busting
like
my
this friend.
balls.
I don't like this
You don't
friend.
like this guy?
No, I don't like this guy.
You know, I know this guy, and I know that you know this guy, and you hate this guy. No, I'm
What
just
does it
joking.
say right here?
Will be 40 in May.
I knew May. I don't know why
Yeah.
I said August before.
Yeah.
I had May.
Yeah.
Talk about a callback.
Yeah, it's only been 14. Well, we're wrapping it up. I wanted to clear the air.
Yeah.
With the old game of 6 degrees of separation we used to play here, Sam, we used to play
Yeah.
3 degrees. I could get you there. I don't know why that pussy bacon needs 6 degrees. But you are now 1 degree away from all these people who worked on a show called Hot in Cleveland. Have you ever looked at the people who've done 2 or 3 or more episodes?
It's kind of unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
From Buck Henry to Huey Lewis.
Buck Henry, Huey Lewis? You just described the best. Next week, we'll return alive with Buck Henry and Huey Lewis.
You know, the
I'd
problem
tune in
is
for that.
the news could only get onto the X's.
That's right.
That's the other TV Land show.
Nice.
I'll be here all week.
Thank you. From Mary Tyler Moore.
News could only.
Thank you, Will.
Hey, you're welcome. Holy shit. Or the Kirstie Alley thing.
From Mary Tyler Moore to Dan Cortez. Yeah, those guys.
They're not doing the please let me know. Gotta know. They're just ooh bop. Oh. They say, hey, I can't believe I'm divorced and we live together. Let me go. It's the weirdest half hour of television of all time. All right, guys, I'm ready for my job interview. How do I look? You look great, Kirstie. Do up. Really do. Gotta know. You
got it.
I've been thinking, but you've been thinking. Don't lie. You be alright. I'll be alright. The board news. If I don't let me believe. Gotta know. Just say so.
Now, would you be okay if we cut 10 Vine videos from that?
Yeah. I gotta know. Everyone in the 80s was, I gotta know.
There was a lot of fist pumping
Oh, man,
for
there was a
Huey.
lot of-
Yeah, a lot of. And also, the Joe Cassell of lyric knowledge.
Plenty Benito.
Every
Lenny
week there's a
Benito
guy.
with lyrics.
Lenny Benito's the one that does it. There's a guy at the program, Lenny is the one.
Doesn't know the lyrics?
Joe's the one who busts his balls about it. Lenny, so I have, music's playing during the game. And no matter what the song is, Lenny will, Vanessa, you know the actor. He would insist on singing along with the song.
Oh.
And even though you can hear the lyrics coming from the sound system, nope. He's making up his own and they're
Right.
nowhere near.
Right.
And he's not trying to be funny. He just literally doesn't
That's
have
how his brain remembers those lyrics.
But he commits as sincerely as you did right to the soul of the
Awesome.
song with
Yeah.
just the wrong.
Yeah.
And the most famous Beatles songs, he'll not
Yeah.
know the lyrics.
Yeah.
Just, are you fucking kidding me? That was fantastic.
McCormick's. No. Subs. Citrus chili lime.
Oh, please tell me that's something you've never done before.
No, yeah, there's a new one. I'll tell you, that'll be
You didn't know you could do Huey Lewis
Hey,
and the news.
No, it's just the news.
It's just the news.
It's just the news.
No, he's got
While I'm
Huey.
living,
He's got Huey in there. This is Huey.
taking what I'm giving.
Oh, because he's working for a living. Oh, taking what they give it. The board news. Fuck. Oh, that's fun.
That's great.
See, that'll be a good one for the kids. And
Yes.
they won't. One time, and now I'm not trying to tee up, I won't even do it, but one time I did a Rodney Dangerfield Vine because I was like, oh, come on, kids. Like, you gotta
get hip to
yeah,
Rodney.
12 views and no one, but because,
Yeah.
we gotta teach these kids.
You got to do Smurf.
These kids are watching nothing but porn and they're,
And Smurfs.
And Smurfs. They love the Smurfs.
And the Smurf porn.
And, oof,
Don't even.
you know.
It's a whole.
Now you got to give me 3 seconds of
Subgenre.
Rodney.
All right. The Vine was basically, it's a bit that I do, and my pal, actually my same pal, my buddy Tom, he's like, that's not. He hates it. We'll be sitting around watching football. He's like, that is not a bit. Stop doing it. I hate it. And I just call it positive Rodney Dangerfield. And he goes, it's nothing. Rodney Dangerfield is what it is. It's nothing. So the Vine is just a shot of Johnny Carson on YouTube. And I just shot with the thing. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, Rodney Dangerfield. That's all. That's all that. His part is just, ladies and gentlemen, Rodney Dangerfield. And then it cuts to 3 stills of Mr. Dangerfield standing in front of the multicolored curtain, and it's just 3 stills, and it's my voice going, oh, my wife, what is it? Oh boy, my wife's cooking. He just goes, oh yeah, my wife's cooking. Oh, last night she made meatloaf, and it was terrific. Oh. And then like a quick, and then that's 6 seconds. And like the kids are just like, I don't know who that is. I don't know why that's positive.
I don't know what the visual is.
And I'm just like, perfect. Like anytime the kids, so this, I gotta know. Like this, it's Huey Lewis for McCormick's Marinade. It's just only like us and the people who saw specifically this episode. Do you watch the Kevin Pollak chat show? Yes, I've seen 230 episodes. Well, you would love that. Not familiar. Well, this is that guy who did. I've never heard of that guy. You didn't see the Three Stooges? Yeah, it was Benicio del Toro and Shatner. No, other guys did it. Well, they did this McCormick's Limeade thing, and that's why Liam Neeson comes in and says bananas at the end. This is useless. I don't give a fuck about Vine. I don't want to watch this thing, and no, I don't care for this. That's who that's for.
Oh, what a great way to end the show. That really was. That was a perfect recap. Yeah. For those of you with the attention span of 14 seconds, you just got the whole show right there.
Yeah, so few of our guests recap the entire last.
Well, no one has
90
the
minutes.
talent for it.
No.
I cannot thank you enough, so I won't even try. I won't even
cheers.
begin. But honestly and truly, I rarely laugh that hard at any of
it was
these.
fun.
I'm usually the news.
Not a bad gig if you can get it.
During these interviews, I am.
Oh, just say so.
Too fucking great. You know how the Larry King game works.
Yeah.
I won't bother re-explaining it. This is your camera.
Okay.
When you are ready, please
Oh,
begin.
man. Oh, I actually didn't.
Yeah. Should be improvised, technically.
Yeah. I was in the grocery store this weekend looking for. I don't do it, Larry.
It's supposed to be bad.
It's supposed to be bad. Oh, terrific. I was in the grocery store this last night. The wife wanted chili lime chicken. I happen to know that McCormick's makes a great chili lime marinade, and wouldn't you know it, they were out. But their store manager, who looked oddly like Liam Neeson, fortunately, pointed me in the direction of the bananas. Flin Flon, Manitoba. Let's go to the phones.
Even Larry King was kind enough to recap the show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Honestly
Thanks for
and
having
truly,
me. Oh, cheers.
that really was a treat.
Thanks for having me.
Beyond belief for me. If you wouldn't mind sitting there uncomfortably for a tight 87 seconds while I wrap this thing up. Thank you so much to Will Sasso, everybody. a fine Canadian treat brought to us all the way from across Los Angeles, apparently. So next week's show, we'll do live on a Saturday, and it may in fact be an audio only, because who wants to see us, really? But we'll know more this week. Follow me on Twitter, @Kevin Pollak. I'll be telling you more information about it. Matthew Perry is a special guest for sure. There's a possibility of a couple other additional special guests at the the Center for the Performing Arts of Scottsdale. Sammy and Jamie will be there, and I believe the crew has told me to go fuck myself. They'd rather not go to Arizona. Oh, maybe differently. Let's go down the list and thank all the wonderful crew, which I actually made a note to thank the crew at the top of the show so people could actually hear it. So even if folks did tune in for the 2-hour show, there's no way they're still listening right now. Oh, he's going to do the wrap-up. All right, what else? Who does Mark Maron have on? So we'll go to evil Dr. Kenny Chen for our first thank you. The greatest intern the world's ever known, Natalie Rosen. Samantha Ward on makeup. We got the JMac, the Jason McIntyre. Is it at Jason? Or is there an underscore in there? There's an underscore. There's an underscore. Follow him at Jason_McIntyre.
Wow. He's not tweeting anything.
He's not tweeting. He doesn't care.
I got a real 7-course meal out of this.
I am making a 7-course meal, just so that I don't say Mike's name incorrectly again.
I see.
That's really while I'm stalling, because I'm trying to remember my catchphrase for Mike, which is, Dooman. Mike Dooman. Mike Dooman, yeah, who's been a great addition to the show. Sean Casey here with the West Side Comedy Theater.
What's so hard
Jamie
about
Sammy.
Dooman? How is Dooman difficult?
I'll tell you what it is. It's the I-N that I always think denim and flop the vowels.
He's wearing a denim hat.
And he's often dressed in...
He's a
I forgot to ask our guest how he feels about the term Canadian tuxedo.
You see, if our fans don't stay for these thank yous, they're going to miss this great
You're going to miss
banter.
some of the... Yeah.
As long as it's a relaxed fit.
Still mic'd. The great Will Sasso. And then we'll take the 22nd off, and then 29th will be live from Largo at the Coronet if you're in the Los Angeles area. But again, thanks to the West Side Comedy Theater, our new home. We're very happy for it. And I believe that's it for now.
That's all we got.
Have I technically not forgotten someone for the first time ever? All right, that's the show. Thank you for tuning in. Write to us at contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. And as always, get out of my face.